instead gets a decent result, but nothing big is available for high achievement. This, in fact, is exactly what most jobs provide. In such scenarios, you'll never hit it big. It's not even attainable, really. But you can count on a steady flow of at least something for the fat middle of the pack. Some will get a little bit more, others will hang out at the bottom, but most people will be clumped together in a comfortable middle. And this is a little perplexing on this kind of a power curve. Why should it be here in acting that there's no comfortable middle? Well, I don't really know. I don't know how it's structured. I don't know what it takes to break into the movie or the big stage. But think about our pay plans in our companies. Don't your companies have money that starts for like brand new people? Can't they make a little bit of money right away? And isn't there money all the way up? In every pay plan I've ever seen, your company's in mine. It's not like we just have a pay plan. All right, once you do 10 million in sales, you'll make a lot of money. No, we'll give a nickel here, a dime there, a quarter, $100, $200, $300, $50, $1,000, $20,000. Right? And there's stuff all through there. How come no one's hanging out in the middle? Oh no. Because they either quit, because it's too hard, or they go all the way to the top. I don't know. I can't totally explain it. But we have pay all the way along there. That always perplexes me. But ultimately, we have two choices in life. Number one, we can find a closed system with outside forces that artificially impose a safe and comfortable bell curve on it, a situation with no chance of high highs, but very little worry about low lows. Have you ever tried to put someone on your team and they resist because there's no guarantees? Because they can't handle the thought of not knowing what they're going to make? I can't handle the thought of knowing what I'm going to make. I think back to when I was an engineer many, many moons ago. The last year I ever worked for General Motors, I was making $64,600 or $64,200, somewhere right around that amount on salary per year. This is a long time ago when I was young. But I knew that number all year long. It used to drive me crazy. Like, I already know this whole year I'm giving. I already know what I'm going to get paid. I mean, I enter into the business world, I have no idea. The year gets done, I still have no idea. The accountants are doing stuff. I got different accountants. They had their companies, and then, and then I don't file on April 15th. We file on October 15th, and then the different accountants send me the stuff, and I still can't figure. I got to get them all together. And I have no idea. Oh, I guess we're doing all right. I don't know the number. It's almost like if you know the number, you're broke. But I didn't like knowing the number, but some people are so security minded, they got to know the number. They'd rather not have an unlimited upside because they got to know that promised downside. That falls into the most people category, and you turn them into a happy customer. All right. So the first one is enter a nice, safe bell curve situation, and don't ever think there's going to be a very high there, but you'll never have to worry about a low low. Or the second one is you can choose a power curve where there are no upper limits, but you can hang around at zero forever if you choose. And so there are no guarantees. It's actually a very dangerous place to be, the power curve, because you can't hide. And it's very competitive, and it's very revealing, and some people can't handle that spotlight on their true lack of performance. And so they go running back into the safety of a bell curve where it's easier to pose with titles and baubles and the corner office. Not everybody, but some people are wired that way. You see them come into our business, then they get a little bit too exposed for not really being the performer. They strut around like they are, and then they have to go scamper back where the bright light of competition doesn't shine quite as brightly. So really it comes down to being that this is for whom it's for. It's up to each individual to choose which one is right. But you can't call one unfair or wrong or a scam just because you're wired to be in the other one. Bell curve people are miserable in power curve situations. And power curve people are miserable in bell curve situations. That's what happened to me. I was in a bell curve situation. My parents lived their whole life as bell curvers, and they were totally fine with it. My brother's a bell curver. Everybody in that corporation where I worked was a bell curver. But I walked around like, man, this just doesn't seem right for me. I didn't have the mathematics to describe it. I wanted a power curve. I wanted something that went all the way to the top. I was willing to risk the time at zero. Just give me a shot at the top. That's why this was so appealing to me. And I think that's probably why it's so appealing to you. Let me tell you a little secret. Most of us, because of the nature of this profession, when this finds us, You get to do both. Most of you are employed in a job. You're in a bell curve situation when we find you. People come in, they come on to the plantation where you are gainfully employed in a bell curve situation, and they ask you if you'd like to live a power curve. And every now and then someone pops up. I think that's me. I think I am a power curver. You remember the old movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you know, and all of a sudden they start getting a signal? They're being called by, it's like you're being called out for a power curve existence. And all the bell curve people, where do you think you're going? We got it pretty good here. And the question they always ask me when I quit my job, this was the number one question I got from people. What are you going to do for benefits? I said, I'm my own benefit provider. And I provide a lot better ones than this company's been providing. What they need is how you're going to get health care. I'm going to buy it. Bell curve people and power curve people come from two different planets. The languages don't even. When you're talking to a bell curve person, I want you to hear one word: customer. Woo! Customer. Because your creams and energy drinks and oils work great on bell curve people. The pay plan only works on power curve people. In the Chronicles of Narnia, there's a point where one of the characters asks another character about Aslan, the lion who commands the entire realm, and he's a symbol for God in heaven. And the question is, oh, is he quite safe? And the answer is, no, he's not safe. He's powerful and mighty. He's not safe, but he is just. And I'll tell you, there is no safety on the power curve. It's not safe. It's powerful, it's mighty, it's just, but it's not safe. It's not safe. I was in the Caribbean one time, the British Virgin Islands, and a friend of mine and I were on a catamaran. I can't remember why the wives didn't come and why we didn't have any kids with us, but it ended up just being he and I and a whole bunch of group of people. And they stopped the catamaran and they said, yeah, here's some rocks over there and you can do some snorkeling or whatever. And we were getting kind of bored, so we grabbed the snorkeling mask and jumped in and went over there. And we had, I think we had fins on. Yeah, we did. And there was this little lagoon. And the boat captain had said something as we were just getting in the water. He said to a few of us, he said, hey, you guys, some of you more accomplished swimmers, you might want to check out the swim-through over there that leaves that lagoon and then goes in the backside of that rock that sticks up above the waves. Like, swim-through? If you don't know what a swim-through is, it's a submerged tunnel in the rock or the coral underwater, under the surface of the water. It's like a tunnel. So you go in one side and you come out the other. So we went into this lagoon, and we had to swim 300 or 400 yards, so we were a little winded by the time we got over there. We get over to this lagoon, and it's got this rock that sticks up in kind of a big circle, maybe about half the size of this ballroom, and it's kind of a lagoon. And it was shallow in there all of a sudden. And so most snorkelers are in there, because outside the lagoon, the waves are beating and rolling through, and there's a current. And then these rocks were sticking up out of the water quite high on one side, and we thought, oh, that must be where the swim-through is. So we made our way over there, and my buddy, he sees it, he goes like this, and then he disappears underwater. So I have my mask, I just kind of float, and I watch him, he's going way down, and he's down there looking like this, he looks up, and he goes like that, and then he comes back up. And he goes, there it is, it doesn't look that bad, I'm going to try it. So we're in the lagoon, you go down probably about 12 feet maybe, and there's the swim through, and it goes through, and I don't know how far it really is, but in my memory, it was like 9 miles.